Good morning, live stream viewers. We're going to get this show on the road in about 40 seconds.
No focus groups. Get ready for a heavy dose of democracy, fairness, grit, and no apologies. It's current affairs from a working class labor perspective. Facts are center, science is real, and everyone gets a seat at the table. The Rick Smith Show, weeknights at 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Finding support for my child with ADHD felt overwhelming. I didn't know which direction.
15 seconds.
It's 6:06 right now. Thank you so much for joining us on the Civic Media Radio Network. You're listening to Civic Media Mornings. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Good morning. Thanks for being here. Another big day on Civic Media Mornings. Lots to talk about from Switzerland, lots to talk about from Wisconsin. And we're going to start, of course, with Davos. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, Davos, is that a thing? Is that a place? Davos is an actual city in Switzerland, and that's where the World Economic Forum has been taking place since 1971, and that's where yesterday Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, painted the best picture of his administration and this country, making everyone proud to be an American. People around the world, Jamie, a lot of people are saying to me, sir, we all want to be Americans now. We would like to be Americans. But before we get into what he said, we know Jamie is the research guru on the program, and she said, well, let's talk a little more about Davos. Let's have some fun facts, quick hits. What is the World Economic Forum? Why is it in Davos? So, Jamie, enlighten us, please.
Yes, and I feel like this is important because it's a term you hear once a year, and your world leaders all gather in one place, and we don't always know what these things are. And, you know, in other presidencies, the president of the United States would travel to Davos, they'd give a speech, it'd pretty much go under the radar, and everybody'd go home. But we live in much different times. So the World Economic Forum actually started in 1971. It's a business-focused gathering, and as you mentioned, Brian, they meet in this small area of Switzerland, and it's basically a little village. There's a resort there, and it's called Davos. Now, it's grown from into a global forum on economics, climate, technology, inequality, and conflict. About 400 political leaders and 850 top CEOs from around the world are attending this year, along with ministers and central bank chiefs. NATO and World Trade Organization leaders are also present this year at Davos. Global tensions, of course, are higher this year because of U.S. policies and tariffs and all of the fun stuff that we've been talking about. This year, though, I think it's interesting because artificial intelligence is a key focus, where a lot of these world leaders and all of these high-level academics are discussing, you know, how it can highlight gains. And there's also conversations on job concerns globally. And there's a lot of people, if you're listening to this and you're like, yep, that sounds like a bunch of elitists going into one location. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's a who's who of bigwigs.
It is. And
what do they actually get done?
Well, yeah, normally there's not a lot of policy that comes out of Davos. There's a lot of ideas. This year, though, I think world leaders are seeing it as a little bit more pressing just based on some of the things that we've been seeing coming from our own presidential administration. So there's a lot more consternation. There's a lot more side meetings happening in Davos this year. Now, this probably won't surprise you, but the president of the United States has not been invited to a lot of those side meetings because a lot of them are about him and his administration.
Wow.
So,
that's to be the one boy left out, the lonely boy who was not picked for Davos meetings.
Well,
I guess if you threaten the economies of your allies and threaten blowing up an organization that protects all the allies, people don't want to talk to you.
They don't want to play in your sandbox. They
no,
really
and they
don't.
don't want you in theirs.
No,
100%.
absolutely. He is very excited, though, this morning because obviously we're talking European time. So Davos and all the meetings are already underway. He's signing contracts this morning for his Board of Peace.
The Legion of Doom, you mean?
That's right. I'm going to have to do some more investigating. I don't know what countries have actually signed up to be on that yet.
Russia has, for
Okay.
sure. So
All right.
Putin is on the board.
All right.
There are a number of other, the man who is called Europe's last dictator, he's on there. So there's, when you look at it, and I jokingly say the Legion of Doom, but it's made up of nasty, nasty human beings.
Not people who have our best interests in heart or their country's best interests in heart.
Or
at heart.
peace's best interest in heart.
There's that aspect of it as well. But so that's
But
a
they
little
have
background.
They have $1 billion each. That's how
Well-
you get on the. That's how you get on the Board of Peace. $1 billion.
Well, Putin's trying to unfreeze some of those assets to help fund the whole thing. So
That'll be lovely. That'll be lovely.
not a joke. That's actually happening this morning, folks. I'm just going through the news headlines quickly.
If you watched the president's speech yesterday, I guarantee you did not have as much fun as we had watching part of the president's speech. And the Boyquarium, and for everybody will attest, Jamie's reactions during this speech, while they will never make it to the air, were entertaining beyond belief.
Highlight of my day.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
if you ever want to see a political version of Mystery Science Theater 3000, Jamie would be the host and Donald Trump would be on nonstop loop for the movie. To say the speech was a rambling mess, I think is being generous and kind. But your reactions to it.
Well, there were
was
things in it
great.
that I wasn't really understanding in and we know that the president likes to speak, as his administration says, off the cuff. He has prided himself on no teleprompters.
But he
and
uses teleprompter.
Well, and it was going in and out of a lot of subjects really quickly, and then he does the weave. We also know he likes what he calls the weave, and so he was weaving things in and out, and it was hard to follow. But
If you think it's hard to follow listening, try to follow it while you're watching captions. That was I couldn't. Words were coming up and fragments, and I was like, none of this makes any sense.
Right.
And then I would turn on the audio, thinking, well, maybe it's just whoever's doing the closed captioning is not a good typist. No, they were very accurate in their typing.
They were doing their best, absolutely, which had to be a little mind-blowing for them as well.
Yeah.
They didn't use the period key on their keyboard very often. Let's be realistic. But the president did say some things. He did say some things. And so he was one of the headlining speakers yesterday morning. And we're going to start out with this because this is the one that's making a lot of news. He actually referred to Greenland multiple times as Iceland in his speech.
It's all the same. Frozen tundra.
Sure. And a conservative-leaning network reporter actually called attention to this error yesterday. And the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, she basically did what she does best. She went into attack dog mode, right? And she actually went to X and said this: his written remarks referred to Greenland as a piece of ice because that's what it is.
We weren't reading his written remarks. We were listening to his oral remarks.
And he made the mistake 4 different times. This is an example of one of those times. This is cut 1, Parker.
I don't know that they'd be there for us. They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money. But that dip is peanuts compared to what it's gone up.
So that was just one example. There were 3 times in there where he called Greenland Iceland, and there was another example. But we have so much other audio to get to from the speech. I tried to pull what I could quickly.
He also was very big on saying that no one from NATO, nobody had paid any bill. We have shouldered all of it, and it's lucky for them that we have the money we do have.
Yes. So let's start out with this is the president on, and we're going to do a little fact checking here. All right, after we listen to this. So this is cut 2.
We never ask for anything. and we never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made, because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force.
All right. So, of course, he's referring
Wow.
to NATO there.
Yes.
So a couple things. He actually admitted he wouldn't use force, and he actually concedes later in the day, which we'll get to in just a moment. But when referring to NATO, he says that we never got anything, meaning NATO's never given back anything to the rest of the world. Well, that's not true. Among other things, the U.S. got a NATO coalition to fight in Afghanistan after the U.S. was attacked on September 11th of 2001. I mean, that's just a prime
That's a little
example of how
something.
it's a little something. So
Little something.
there is that. He also went on to talk more about NATO. This is cut 3.
We've never gotten anything, except we pay for NATO. And we paid for many years until I came along. We paid for, in my opinion, 100% of NATO because they weren't paying their bills.
All right.
Wow.
So little fact checking here too, Brian. Are we
yes,
ready?
I'm ready. But opinions. You know what they say about opinions, Jamie.
Yes.
So I'm sure you're going to prove some of that opinion wrong. What do we
Yes.
got?
Basically, that entire 13-second statement was wrong because he says they weren't paying their bills. Well, that's not true. NATO spending target is for countries' own defense budgets, and it doesn't actually create quote unquote bills. Second fact check. He says that most of the countries weren't paying anything. Every member of NATO was spending something on defense. In fact, in 2024, 18 countries of the 31 subject to that 2% of domestic product, gross domestic product, target were actually above that target, paying NATO. And then finally, he says, we paid for, in my opinion, 100% of NATO. Factually incorrect opinion is what that is from the president. As of 2024, U.S. defense spending was 63% of total NATO defense spending, a big chunk clearly, but nowhere near the 100%. So 13
All
seconds, basically all false.
And small countries just don't have the same amount of money as large countries. But as you said, everybody's paying something, and even the ones who were only supposed to pay the minimum are paying more. What a surprise that, but man, I wish Caroline Levitt were here to shout you down, because you're bringing facts, you're bringing truth, and that's
Trying.
Now, what about, listen, I heard from the president that we gave Greenland back, we being the United States, gave Greenland back to Denmark after World War II. We had it. They lost it. We gave it back because, of course, we are benevolent.
I had to go dig this one out, but I know we're getting short on time, but cut 4 here, Parker.
And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps.
And German is their native language, by the way.
After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now?
Oh,
All right. So here's the fact check, folks.
facts, please.
The 19-
I prefer to live in fantasy like him. It must be wonderful. But give us the facts.
I had to do a little digging over at govinfo.gov. My history professor from college would be very proud that this was rattling around in the back of my head. The 1941 agreement giving the U.S. military the right to operate in Greenland repeatedly said that Denmark retained full sovereignty over Greenland. In fact, that agreement states, quote, the government of the United States of America reiterates its recognition of the respect of the sovereignty of the Kingdom of Denmark over Greenland, going on to say the Kingdom of Denmark retains sovereignty over the defense areas mentioned in the preceding articles, unquote. That is from the original 1941 agreement. Pretty black and white there. Literally black and white. It's
It is
literally
black and white. But, Jamie, we need somebody to lead us. Sometimes dictator's thrown around as a negative. But sometimes, according to the president, you need a dictator. We'll play that after, and we'll get to a little more of the speech. We also have to talk about a Democratic gubernatorial forum that happened last night. So a lot to get to.
There's a lot going on this morning. It's 6:19 right now. You're listening to Civic Media Mornings. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Solve everything with yoga.
This is Chad Spate. Are you thinking about improving your home? At Chad's Design Build, we're proud to offer remodeling done well with love. And our commitments to you and your home convey that love and spell our name. The Chad's experience is structured to provide excellent communication, honesty, accuracy, detailed proposals, and satisfied customers. We're also committed to making your home comfortable, healthy, attractive, durable, and sustainable. If you want a quality remodel and a quality remodeling experience, go to chadsdesignbuild.com to learn more.
Is sedition punishable by death? No. Sedition is not punishable by death under U.S. law. The federal crime is seditious conspiracy, which applies when people conspire to overthrow the government and carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison. President Donald Trump claimed on November 20th that seditious behavior is punishable by death, referring to Democratic lawmakers urging service members to disobey illegal orders. His post drew criticism, including from Tammy Baldwin. Historically, sedition-related convictions have resulted in prison terms, not death sentences. I'm Trisha Young for Wisconsin Watch. Fact Briefs are bite-sized fact checks of trending claims produced by Wisconsin Watch and GigaFact. Read more at wisconsinwatch.org.
Would you like to contact Congress and let them know your views about issues that are important to you? Leave a message for your U.S. representative or your senator by calling the Capitol Switchboard at 202-224-3121. Phone lines are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Standard phone rates may apply. To send an email, go to senate.gov or house.gov for more information. A public service message from the Civic Media Radio Network.
We are the National Park Foundation, and together with you, we're creating a future where every person...
We'll be back in 15 seconds.
$6:22 right now. The Boyquarium with the right music for today.
Subtle messages, Boyquarium.
I love it. I love it. It's half a Boyquarium again today. You're listening to Civic Media Mornings on the Civic Media Radio Network. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jamie Martinson.
Good morning. I'm Brian Noonan, and we're going to finish up some thoughts and some of the speech from yesterday at Davos, the World Economic Forum. I mentioned before we went to break that sort of tongue-in-cheek, but terrifyingly not as much as it should be, that sometimes, according to the president, sometimes we need a dictator. That's not me saying it. That's him. Cut 5, please.
We had a good speech. We got great reviews. I can't believe it. We got good reviews in that speech. Usually they say he's a horrible dictator type person. I'm a dictator. But sometimes you need a dictator. But they didn't say that in this case. And no, it's common sense. It's all based on common sense. You know, it's not conservative or liberal or anything else. It's mostly, let's say, 95% common sense.
95, Jamie. 95%.
Yeah, I guess that's what he believes based on some of our previous conversation. He believes a lot of things. But he made this statement in front of the press later yesterday after that speech. He was reflecting on his own words in front of the forum. Now, this is not the first time that the president has made remarks similar to this, right?
No, it's not.
Last August, he faced criticism over, his hardline actions in Washington, D.C., sending in troops. And again, he made similar comments in just November of 2025 when he met with then New York City Mayor-elect Mamdani at the White House. And he laughed off a description of him as a fascist. And so this is not the first time.
Just a couple weeks ago, it was a joke, and I use the air quotes, according to his people, it was a joke that we weren't going to have midterm elections.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when somebody tells you who they are, you should listen.
Or want to be. Or want to be,
yes.
Right?
And you are judged by the company you keep. And if some of your friends in politics are leaders that are less than democratic, perhaps, it's not a stretch for people to make that leap and assumption about you.
Right, absolutely. And there was a little bit of action after the speech yesterday. Trump announced a framework of a future deal on Greenland after he met with NATO leaders in Davos.
Concept of a deal.
There
was a concept, just like the healthcare. But yes, it's a concept. It's the best plan. Everybody's happy. It's Jamie. It's an infinite plan.
It's an infinite plan.
Concept.
Ultimate long term were the words that the President of the United States used. Now, here's what you do need to know at this moment. He dropped threats of tariffs on some European countries that were tied to Greenland, meaning the U.S. stock markets rose again yesterday following the announcement. NATO is endorsing the idea of this sort of framework. There are very few details that we know right now. The White House says that they will not be releasing anything until the plans are concrete.
Right.
And it really, I believe most of this is what we already have in place.
Yes, here's the
from
deal.
From what I can tell so far.
It appears, and in many cases, that the administration likes to create a problem so it can seem like they solved it. One of the big things coming out of this is the U.S. can build more military bases and have more military in Greenland. And you said this, we had that already.
Right.
We have sovereign land in Greenland. We've mentioned this every day, and the U.S. has been free to expand our military footprint in Greenland on that sovereign land that has never been in dispute. It has never been a point of contention with Greenland or Denmark. Nothing has been gained, and it's like a parent. NATO and the leaders are being a parent telling their kids, maybe we'll go to the circus. Maybe. Oh, well, that's a concept of a plan. So they're placating him to a point without appeasing him, or they're appeasing him to a point without giving in to him. So, okay, good. And if he thinks he won, nobody's going to point it out to him that he didn't win anything. We already had this.
Yes.
But that's what came out of it. It's a lot of bluster for nothing.
And just so you know, for our listeners, EU leaders are still going to be meeting privately today without the president in the room. They're still holding an emergency meeting without him involved. So that tells you that there's still some things that they're not 100% easy about if they still want to have these conversations.
And foreign governments are divesting themselves of U.S. Treasury bonds in their pension funds. There's a lot that's still. There's going to be a lot more fallout from this, other than him coming home saying he got great reviews on his speech and he, has the concept of a plan. It is going to hurt. Market taking the big dip the other day. That probably won't be the last time as more of this fallout becomes apparent to everybody. But turning our eye closer to home. You were in Milwaukee last night, and we streamed it here on Civic Media. There was a forum for the primary candidates for the governor of Wisconsin on the Democratic side. And Jamie was there.
I was.
Sleep-deprived and ready to rock you.
It's over. It was held at the Cooperage. It was hosted by Main Street Action. 7 of the top Democratic candidates were there, including State Representative Francesca Hong, State Senator Kelda Roys, former Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation Director Missy Hughes, Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Milwaukee County Executive David Crawley, former Department of Administration Secretary Joel Brennan, and former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. Our own Dan Schaefer from the Recombobulation area emceed the event. And this was a forum where the audience got to ask questions, everything from healthcare all the way to offering tax credits for small businesses, the role of public commissions, all the way to how these candidates would handle ICE in their own state. So you can go watch the entire thing if you want. That was over on our YouTube channel. And varying views from all across the Democratic Party, so you can kind of check out what they have to say if you don't have experience with all of the candidates that were aforementioned.
We have a new game after the break, Fact or Fiction with Frank. You can always play along at home or get involved in the program, 855-752-4842. I'm Brian Noonan. This is Civic Media Mornings.
My name is Jamie Martinson, and you are listening to the Civic Media Radio Network.
more bike lanes. From the Capitol to your kitchen table, Madison's biggest stories live right here on 92.7 WMDX.
Jump-starting domestic production of sustainable aviation fuel. It was one of the conversations at Ag Day at the Capitol yesterday. I'm Pam Yankee, starting you off before the opening bell on a Thursday morning. Quick look at what's happening in agribusiness news. Trying to help the sustainable aviation fuel grow here in the United States was one topic of conversation. Jason Mung-Naini, who is the Executive Director of Government Affairs for the Wisconsin Farm Bureau Federation, says it's all about keeping it domestic.
And we need some things to get over the hump to make sure that we're doing things like building domestic markets, bringing stability at home, supporting services. So for us, the top item that we need to get over the hump is a production tax credit for sustainable aviation fuel. We saw the volatility in the export market on the grain side, not only just on soybeans, but even on corn and dairy products. We need to start using more products here at home. A tax credit for sustainable aviation fuel would help build production here for a fuel that is likely to grow fivefold in the next 10 years. That would be a top line item.
Jason Mung-Naini, Executive Director of Government Affairs for the Wisconsin Farm Bureau Federation at Ag Day at the Capitol. As we get rolling on a Thursday morning, looks like markets, in the grain trade at least, still holding positive. Numbers are next.
Did you know soybean diseases like white mold and sudden death syndrome can survive in your soil even after rotating crops? Prevention of these diseases is a constant battle, and yield loss from an infection can be devastating. The right management plan makes all the difference. Keep your beans safe this spring with Heads Up seed treatment. Heads Up guards your seed from both white mold and SDS. Stay protected and profitable by asking your seed dealer for Heads Up. Learn more at headsupst.com.
Innovation.
I'm actually gonna bring up Frank for a second here. Can I get a quality mic check with you, Frank?
Of course. Mic test 1, 2, check, check, check. Parker is a Packers fan, and he's sad.
Well, yeah, that has to do with it. Yeah. Okay. That'll work. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Innovation. That's BioVet.
On Wednesday, the barrel cheese remained unchanged. 40-pound block cheese gained 2.5 to $1.36, and the double-A butter on Wednesday up a nickel to $1.46 per pound. In overnight electronic trade on this early Thursday morning, March corn's up a penny at $4.23. December new crop up a penny at $4.51. March soybeans are up 3 at $10.67. November new crop up 3, $10.77. March wheat's 2 cents higher right now at $5.09. July new crop also up 2 at $5.34. The February Class 3 milk that goes into cheese 4 cents lower at $15.27. March right now is up 9 at $15.46 a hundredweight. I'm Pam Yankee.
Parallel parking in Madison? Impossible. Finding real conversation on the radio? Probable. With 92.7 WMDX.
Partly to mostly cloudy, a few off and on snow showers today. We'll get into the mid-teens early on, and then temperatures are going to drop into the single digits here by late this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy. We're going to drop to between 15 and 20 below zero. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of only 6 below zero. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. It is 8 degrees outside right now.
John and Gordy.
From Busted Pencils, it's Tim Slecker.
We have a teacher shortage, which means that coming again in August, there will be principals that will go, oh my God, I don't have enough teachers.
And teachers didn't need the grief anymore, and they started not getting into that profession.
There's some animosity towards this, quote, other group of people now that are becoming teachers that didn't have to go through the same qualification programs that they did.
Afternoons starting at 2 for your afternoon drive.
Pete Schwaba. Conrad is out sick tonight. I just confirmed what Conrad has. As it turns out, he has gigantism, alien hand syndrome, celiacs, the pig's flu. He has evil twinism. Didn't seem like himself the last couple nights working the board. Conrad, get well soon. There are probably HIPAA restrictions on this, but that's not for me to say. If anyone can do it, the guy who can bench almost 300 pounds can do it.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 5 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
We'll be back in 15 seconds.
It's now time for a game of fact or fiction. Here's your host, producer Frank.
Yes, thank
Wow.
you so much. I know, standing ovation for me.
It seems
You
odd
guys
that,
usually don't get this.
and we
Did your
also
wife
don't
have to
get
help with that?
pre-produced. It's odd that the first pre-produced open is for Frank's segment.
That's so weird how that works,
Yeah,
Brian.
I don't. Wow.
It's
Okay. So
amazing.
Wow.
I just love that we have so little budget. You had to like bother your poor wife to help
That's
to
great.
voice something.
Well, my voice guy was super busy doing
Gotcha.
super important things yesterday, and I didn't want to double text because
I like a voice lady.
Once.
That's
Yeah. I
a
like
voice
her.
lady is good.
Yeah,
Yes,
she.
that's good.
You know what? She's done this before.
Love it.
So Frank, what is this? You said we're going to play a game. What is the game? How do we play? What is
So
going
we're
on?
going to be playing fact or fiction. So how this is going to work is I'm going to either play a clip or quote a politician's remarks that they've recently made. And then you two, as well as Parker, I'm going to let Parker play this one too, are going to decide whether it's a fact or fiction.
Pure fiction.
Okay.
So
All right.
We will be keeping score.
we know that they actually.
Oh.
It is a fact that they said this, correct?
boy.
Are we asking what they said?
These are
is
all
a fact
real.
or fiction?
Thank you for clarifying,
I
Brian.
love
These
to
are
clarify.
all real quotes.
Okay.
You must decide whether they were quoting a fact or if it's pure fiction.
Okay.
And it's either
All right.
a lie or the data does not exist.
Okay.
Okay. Let's bring
All
that.
right.
Let's bring that background down just a hair, Parker.
All right.
Thank
Here
you.
we go. Here we go.
All right.
All right, we
Do
ready
we have
for
to
the
buzz
first one?
in? Is it a race?
Your
'Cause Jamie's
name
very competitive.
Oh, boy. Here we go again.
All right.
will be your buzzer.
All right.
If that
all right.
person gets it wrong, we
Chance
will
to
allow
steal?
a steal.
All right.
Ooh.
Perfect.
All right. Let's go to the first one.
Okay.
So as you know, this is one of 8 wars that my administration
Brian.
has ended in just 8 months.
Ryan.
Fiction.
Pure fiction.
It is pure fiction. So,
That's
as
gonna be
we all
almost
know,
a gimme.
well, we got to start off, Brian. We have to start easy. That way, people can understand how the game works.
No, listen. I'm happy. I'm ahead, Jamie. I'm winning.
We're gonna give a
throw
point.
pencil.
We're gonna give a point to Brian, but here's the deal. Trump throws "I've ended 8 wars" out quite a bit. So here's the deal. These claims are widely disputed. They're often exaggerated. Many of the wars he cites were either already cooling, were ceasefires rather than lasting peace deals, or weren't full wars to begin with. So, Israel-Palestine, when there was a bit of a ceasefire, that does not count as ending a war.
Yeah.
Especially, and I don't think you can take full credit to ending a war.
No.
Especially if two
Especially
countries aren't
8.
even near each other.
Or not at war at all.
Yeah.
Or not at war at all.
Well,
there's many nuances to this.
why
There's a
pick at
few
nits?
things. Yeah, that's right. All right.
Let's get back to the game. I'm winning.
All right, Brian's ahead 1-0. Let's go
Okay.
to clip number 2. This is from Representative Pat Fallon of Texas.
My greatest disappointment, clearly and by far, was the spending and the deficit. It's still growing. I think the debt is now at $38 trillion. It's so
Jamie,
large.
That's
Jamie.
true. That's true. The deficit is much yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, that is true. Current estimates do have our current national debt around $38 trillion. And that's not counting if there is a deal put in place and Trump does buy Greenland for, what was the estimate?
$700 billion.
billion dollars.
Billion.
Billion
With
with
a B.
Yeah.
Parker, you're awfully quiet back there.
I mean, I don't know the facts as well. I guess that's just how it is.
That's true.
I don't
This is
know.
going to be a dogfight between Jamie and
This
Brian.
is-
So
yeah.
Jamie's got 1 point.
I'll
Brian
snag
has
one.
1 point.
Look at me. Okay.
Parker
All right, here we
has
go.
no points
Tied
in
up.
this
All right, here we
introductory
go.
game of fact or fiction. We're moving on to number 3. This one involves Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana, who's often outspoken. This was around the time of the government shutdown where he reminded everybody, I introduced legislation to prevent members of Congress from getting paid during a government shutdown.
Oh, Brian.
Brian?
I am going to say fact.
That's the fact, Jack.
It is a fact, Brian, with the
Nice
point.
job.
Jeez.
I mean, it's a
'Cause he's
50-50 shot.
Well,
Parker,
right.
you feel free to buzz in and take a guess
Okay.
here.
All right.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
I
because you
see.
don't lose a point if you get it wrong,
No.
correct?
This is
We don't.
true. Okay.
We don't
It's
deduct
not like Jeopardy.
points.
We're not taking points away here.
But here's
That's
Maybe
true. We
next
can't go
time.
negative. That
I
would be rude.
I must say, this is my favorite thing on here because obviously this hasn't been passed. This isn't a thing. They do still get paid during a government
Sure.
shutdown. I'm just thinking, would this ever be voted to pass? Like, are you going to get a bunch of people to be like, you're right.
Yeah.
We shouldn't get our paychecks.
Because we're the people who caused the government shutdown, so realistically, they shouldn't. Oh,
No,
this
they
is-
should not get their checks. No. I
I
mean,
would-
if the American people aren't getting paid, why should they? They caused it, and they're also American citizens, right? Also federal
Yes.
employees. So
Hey, we all agree. If you guys were members of Congress, would you vote to not get a paycheck during a shutdown?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Jamie says she would. Brian's being realistic. Not a chance.
Yeah, I bring honest. My brother got to get paid.
You got to get paid. All right, here's what we've got so far. For those of you just joining us, we are playing a new game called Fact or Fiction. We're reading politicians' recent quotes, and Brian and Jamie and Parker have to decide whether it is based in fact or if it's pure fiction.
I like
right
that
now,
you're giving
Brian's
an
in the lead.
explainer. I like that you're explaining the fact or the fiction of it.
Yes.
Of course. Brian's
2 to
in the
1.
lead right now, 2
That's
to
right.
1.
Say it
We're
again.
moving on. We're going to go to Christy Noam this time.
Oh, Christy Noam.
Our
Okay.
favorite, Christy Noam. She said every single individual that has been detained by ICE
Brian.
has committed
Parker.
a crime. But hold on.
Oh, we have to wait till you finish the question?
Yes.
Oh,
But 70% of them have committed or have charges against them on violent crimes.
Jamie.
he didn't finish it.
Hold
He
on till I'm
finished.
finished.
Parker.
So hard.
Is it over now?
And
Parker.
crimes that
I
they
know,
are
that's
charged
what-
with or have been convicted of that have come from other countries that are here illegally, first of all. And then they have committed a criminal act, which they've been here or in their home countries. Go.
Parker.
Jamie.
Brian.
Parker.
Parker?
Fiction.
Pure fiction.
It is pure
Nicely
fiction.
done.
I'm on the board.
Oh,
guys.
Parker's in the game.
I'm coming for you, Brian.
All right, so the specifics are real interesting here again.
Yes.
And this was on a morning show or a news show, and the host did push back that the numbers really are not true. So Christy Noam said 70% have committed violent crimes. So the most recent set of data has ICE detainees that have been convicted of violent crimes at no more than 7%. The numbers
that's a
right
lot
now are
less.
trending more towards 5%.
It's
Furthermore,
amazing how much less that actually is.
65% of detainees have no prior convictions of any crime whatsoever.
It's kind of like they want us to believe one thing, but there's actual facts that tell us another thing. It's weird how that works. I'm
And
just
hence
saying.
the game.
That's
Fact
right. That's right.
Or fiction with Frank.
Parker's on the board. Brian's in the lead with 2. Jamie and Parker both have 1. Now we're gonna
Parliamentary
go to,
procedure, point of order.
Yeah.
Host. So we have to wait until you finish the question?
yes. Because these are, it's a true or false, basically.
Right.
You could just say your
Okay.
name as soon as I start reading and throw a guess out there.
Yeah.
This is about, Brian, we're playing a game, but we're also
I
informing our
I
listeners.
understand, but Frank, let's be honest. You are working on a show where both the hosts and the other producers all want to win.
Yes.
This is very true.
And
We're
this
uber
is why I
competitive.
like playing games with you guys.
All right.
Okay. All right.
All right, here
All
we
right.
go.
We're ready.
All right,
We're
we've
Let's
got a
learn
couple
another
more.
fact or fiction.
All right, this is Representative Richard Neal from Massachusetts, who said long-term unemployment has ballooned. Jobless claims are rising.
Jamie. True.
Jamie?
Fact. True. Fact.
That is the fact. Jamie gets another point. So here's the deal. Long-term unemployment is defined as being unemployed for 27 plus weeks. Numbers have risen from 24 to 2025. Latest estimates are around 1.9 million people still on unemployment after 27 weeks.
Wow.
Yikes.
Wow.
All right, so it's
All right.
tied up now.
That's right.
I'm having a hard time figuring out when Frank is done. His dramatic pauses are throwing me off.
Yeah.
I'm already laying the. I'm laying the. Listen, I'm laying the groundwork for protest. I'm going to
look. Not
say
much
this
of
game
these
was
are
stolen.
word salads like Chrissy Noam's long rambling quote.
Okay.
So these next two,
Okay.
we
All
have
right.
two more.
Two more.
All right.
These
all right.
last two are very short.
All right, I'm ready.
And they all come from Donald Trump, obviously, because he's the only one giving us real quotes these days right now.
Sure.
All right.
Sure, we'll go with that.
This one's from a while ago. He said on Truth Social, Representative Omar of Minnesota should be jailed or deported. The
True.
question
Brian.
here.
That is something he said, yes.
All right, go.
And it's
He said, the question we're asking,
yes,
can a citizen be deported?
Brian.
Jamie.
Brian?
That is fiction.
Pure fiction. That is pure fiction. Brian takes the lead 3-2 to
Ah.
to Parker's
Oh, Jamie
1.
needs this one to tie.
I do.
And I need
do.
this one to dominate.
Just for clarification, because she catches a lot of flack from people, Representative Omar became a citizen in 2000.
Okay.
So for
Yes.
26 years,
that's a while
she's been
ago.
a legal citizen.
That doesn't matter. She looks
Doesn't
different.
matter. Doesn't matter.
All right,
She was
our
a
last
one-time,
one.
not a legal citizen. That's all
Right,
you need to
one
know.
time.
One time. One time.
It's our
she was
last
not.
one. We'll see if
we go.
Jamie can tie this up and end with a tie, or Parker just steals a meaningless point.
Okay.
Wow.
Thanks.
All right.
Inflation is stopped.
Parker.
Brian.
I'm going to let Brian answer this one because, Parker, you got no
his
skin in the
matters.
game.
Well, no, that's all right. Parker was first.
No,
Let
it's
Parker answer.
Brian, you know the answer.
Of course, I know the answer.
Well, is
It's
this like
fiction.
is this like the Minnesota nice version of playing a game?
No,
you
it's
go.
fiction.
You win. You get the point.
Well, Parker did buzz in first. Yeah, it was. Of course, it's pure fiction.
It's
Pure
fiction.
fiction.
Yeah.
It's pure fiction.
Yes.
I'll give you half
Latest
that point 'cause I
inflation
still
numbers
win,
are.
Parker.
Parker, I'm sorry,
Of
you
course,
lost.
Of course. Well,
Sorry,
I mean,
Frank,
let's be honest,
latest
that's how this
latest
is going to go.
inflation
The latest inflation numbers are around 2.7%. Inflation fluctuated from 2.5% all the way up to 3% during this past year of Trump being in office. That all to say, inflation's not going anywhere because it
No.
keeps fluctuating. Obviously, with the threats of tariffs and whatnot, we're going to see that number fluctuate up and down, probably for the next at least 3 years, if the pattern stays the same.
I have to lodge a protest. I do not want to be the show's tangerine tyrant. Parker did, in fact, buzz in first on that last question. Even if Parker had gotten it right, which I know he would have, I still would have won. So
Yes.
I don't need to dominate. I just need to win. And I did, but I don't want to be placated. I don't want the game to feel like the game was given to me when I had earned the win fairly.
All right,
You did
fine.
earn
I
it
demand,
You know what, Brian?
I
It's fine.
demand that
Deal.
point go to Parker.
Okay,
Aw.
the
All right.
point goes
What
to
a doll.
Parker, and Brian still wins.
He
Wow.
does.
That's how
He
I
does.
like it.
Yes. Yes.
I look
3,
benevolent, and I still come out on top.
3, 2, and 2. So that is how we end. That was fun.
It was
We're gonna
fun.
do this again, right?
Jamie, how did it feel tying with Parker? You didn't even win. But
it's
you
good.
tied with Parker.
Hey,
You're
there's worse
fine.
people
Tied
I
with
could
Parker,
tie with.
jeez.
I like that this is
God,
only
Jamie.
like this. I like that this is only the second game we've played on this show, and Jamie is still very gracious in defeat.
Of course.
We'll see if that's going to change.
You guys
No
don't know
matter
me very
what-
well yet.
Here's the thing, no matter what happened, I've won the first game, so now whatever happens down the road, I still was the inaugural winner. And with that,
6:40.
we say there's more coming up on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect.
800-217-9129. 800-217-9129. 800-217-9129.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down, get it going
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
This is Robert Pilot, host of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we talk about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. You'll also hear from Turtle Island voices like Arvina Martin, State Representative Heather Keeler, Ruth Anna Buffalo, Dr. Anthony Stately, State Senator Mary Kunish, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake. Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Native Roots Radio, weeknights at 8 on your local Civic Media radio station.
Join me, Tom Hartman, each and every weekday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Tom Hartman program right here on Civic Media. I talk about the issues that all Wisconsinites can get behind, from unrigging our economy so it works for all of us, not just the billionaire class, to improving our representative government, to delivering on the promise of we the people. Tune in middays right here on your local Civic Media station from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Tom Hartman program.
15 seconds, tour back.
It's 6:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. You are listening to the Civic Media Radio Network, Civic Media Mornings. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Hope you are doing well and getting ready for tomorrow. The extreme cold warning is going into effect at midnight. A dangerous cold for people, animals, property. Everything is in jeopardy tomorrow morning, starting at midnight. Wind chills 34 to 42 below zero are expected. High winds, extreme cold. So know that that's coming. Make precautions if you can. Thanks again to producer Frank for the inaugural game of Fact or Fiction. We will play that again.
That was fun.
Now, it was fun, not just because I won, and I'm not saying that as a flex, but I won.
I would. It's fine.
But
I'll let you flex.
Here's the thing. Jamie, last night, in the midst of covering the Democratic gubernatorial forum, and in anticipation of the extreme cold, sends us all a message. I don't want to say in a panic, but with grave concern. And if this is happening around you, please join in and back Jamie up at 855-752-4842. That's 855-75-CIVIC. I guess in this cold weather, Jamie, trees are exploding across Wisconsin, and people are panicking, as one would if their trees started to explode.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this. I'm not saying it's an urban legend. I will say that it is fact rather than fiction. But what are you talking about?
It's a little bit of both, actually. Okay. It is a little fact with a little bit of urban legend, because as this dangerous cold comes into Wisconsin as well as the upper Midwest, right? Social media is lighting up with these warnings from a guy named Max Velocity. He's actually a weather guy.
This is Max Velocity.
That's
Do you
what
think he was baptized? Online. I was going to say, is that his Christian name,
No.
Max Velocity?
No, I can guarantee you it's not.
Okay.
My husband and I dabble in the weather world, and so we know a lot of these weather guys. But he put up this warning on social media about exploding trees. And
Oh, my God.
so he's a little bit correct, and there's a little hyperbole in this, because although it sounds extreme, it is actually
does.
loosely based on a phenomenon known as frost cracking. So when temperatures plunge suddenly, like they're supposed to, over the next 24 hours or so, sap inside a tree can remain liquid well below freezing and then rapidly freeze and expand. So then that pressure actually combined with the outer bark shrinking faster than the inside wood of the tree can actually create this loud, really like popping sound. And it's essentially, it sounds like a gunshot, and it can sound,
Nice.
yes, it can sound like it's coming from the trees. It's crazy. So experts are saying that full tree explosions, because this got so much traction on social media yesterday, experts had to weigh in, like gurus of weather from the National Weather Service, meteorologists from around the country. So they had to weigh in, and they say that a full tree exploding is pretty rare. Most cracks simply become part of the tree and may heal over time. The severe damage, though, to a tree can actually weaken it and also create safety risks, as we know. Thin bark trees like maples are probably most vulnerable to this frost cracking phenomenon. And cracking usually happens during these sharp cold snaps, usually near minus 20 degrees. That's got to be the air temperature.
Air temp. So we're not going to get, hopefully, there
Yeah,
tomorrow.
hopefully. In the northern parts of the state, we could see some of this exploding tree phenomenon. In Minnesota, in parts of Michigan, they could actually have exploding trees. But any exploding trees, again, are going to be well to the north of us. And when we talk about this extreme cold watch, it's essentially like this box from Wisconsin Dells, east of Sheboygan, down to Milwaukee, clear down to the Illinois border, and then it goes over to Dubuque. And Madison, obviously, included in that if you're looking at a map and know your Wisconsin geography. But that's going to be with wind chill. So
and the watch starts at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. The
Yep.
warning starts today. So warning, we all know we're familiar with tornado warnings and things like that. The warning is basically saying this is not a question.
Right.
It is happening. When you wake up tomorrow, it is going to be dangerously cold. I know there's going to be a lot of talk today, and if you're on your school, if your kids go to school and you're on their district, whether it's a voicemail chain or an email chain or however it is, there will be, I'm sure, a lot of decisions made later in the day. As I know with the district I used to teach in, they wait until the National Weather Service makes some more detailed confirmations later in the day, and then they will let everybody know. But if you're wondering if your kids are going to school tomorrow, just make sure you're paying attention later today, because it's going to be nuts. And Alicia for Wisconsin backing you up, Jamie, on the text line saying
you,
they pop
Alicia.
really loud.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever heard that.
I've only heard the exploding trees, and if you're watching on the stream, I'll put that in air quotes. A couple of different times in my life when we've been traveling or when we've been snow chasing, because my husband is a storm chaser as well. Sometimes we go after the winter weather if it's going to be really crazy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh yeah, yep.
I
we've
didn't
done
know
that
storm
before.
chasers went for blizzards and things.
Oh yeah, they'll do all wildfires, any of that kind of stuff. That's a segment in itself, I'm telling you.
All right.
But no, we've actually had the ability of doing that. So I've only heard the exploding trees a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it really is terrifying if there's nobody else around you.
Oh, it sounds, yeah. I mean, I've heard limbs break under the weight of ice and come down, but that's you're like, oh well, I can see all the ice. I know why it broke the limb. The tree didn't just explode like out of nowhere. Spontaneous combustion. This is going to be fun.
Now, of course, in Wisconsin, if you load those trees with a little adult beverage, then you got yourself a party. You can make them explode that way. We've got some old stumps and things around here. You never know. We like to have some fun around here.
That's a waste of good whiskey. I'd rather just sit on a frozen stump drinking than wait for my old-fashioned stump to explode.
Think of the fountain you'd have coming out of the tree. It could be a really good time. We got to entertain ourselves somehow in this cold.
It would be like a slushy machine. That would be kind of fun, a frozen
It'd be
cocktail.
a whole lot of fun.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about weight loss and nutrition on the other side of the break.
Yes, we all have those New Year's resolutions and always want to get healthier. It is 6:59 right now. You are listening to Civic Media Mornings. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I am Brian Noonan, and this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
WMDX Columbus, Madison's real news and great conversation. A Civic Media station. WMDXradio.com.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Around 24 countries initially signing on to President Trump's Board of Peace.
We're going to be very successful in Gaza. It's going to be a great thing to watch. And we can do other things. We can do numerous other things. Once this board is completely formed, we can do pretty much whatever we want to do.
Other countries, including Russia, still mulling over their invitations. Fresh Israeli strikes in Gaza have killed at least 11 people, including 2 teenagers and 3 journalists. It's one of the deadliest days since the ceasefire started. Millions of Americans bracing for impact from a monster winter storm.
We've got watches already in place from New Mexico down to Houston, all the way through Little Rock, Lexington, Pittsburgh, and we will eventually get them here in New York because we will see it move to the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast.
ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z. The death of a Cuban man in detention center after being picked up by ICE now being investigated as a homicide. This is ABC News.
Your neighbors are talking. Leaders are deciding. Madison's story unfolds daily on 92.7 WMDX.
All right. Looks like we've got Megan here. Let's get her in. Do we got you, Megan? How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing
Good morning, Megan.
Good morning. How are you?
Cold, but
yes.
Yes. Yep. And it'll be more fun tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna stay in my house. I'm not even gonna leave. So
That's the plan. I'm running to the grocery store today and planning on hunkering down tomorrow and not doing anything, and Saturday. So not bad.
Though that's like the adulting version of snow days, though, isn't it? Like when you absolutely
Yeah. Except now we still have to work at home.
We can still work, yeah.
But you can work in your jammies and take a break if you need to. And
it's good stuff.
And just try to convince your dogs that it's not. No, you can't. No, we're not going outside again. No.
Put on the doggy mittens.
I always keep just enough snow around where she goes outside every day, just so that it's a little bit, so it's not like that bare concrete underneath of her feet. So there's at least some snow, so she could at least go out really quickly. And then when we have to, actually walk a little bit, we boot up and put
our
the coat on
yard.
her.
You have to go down a long way off the deck to get to the yard. So I've just covered the back half of the deck in snow.
Yeah.
And on cold days like this, just run out the door, go and come right back in, and I'll clean it up later.
Yeah.
That's how my dog is too. She's just like out and in right away.
Yeah, one of mine doesn't want to be out more than a couple seconds. He's old and he's lazy and he just wants to go. The other one still has not gotten the grasp of, it's really cold. And she's like 10. She's not young, but she'll just stand out there and bark, like barking at the cold, yelling it's cold. I'm like, yeah, idiot, let's go. Get back in
We're
the
all
house.
complaining about it.
Everybody's in.
So she's literally like old man yelling at clouds, like
Yeah,
me,
she
right?
is. She just. I'm like, what is she barking at? Nothing. She'll bark at the wall. She just,
That's awesome.
Just nothing.
My dog too. She hates like FedEx drivers, UPS, the mailman. She's just trying to protect the castle and
And it's the smallest one. The one is 90 pounds. He doesn't make a sound at all. He'll look out the window. He'll chill. The little one, my daughter's dog is a Chiweenie, and he barks at everything. Yeah, Chihuahua Dachshund mix.
Cute.
Walter, and he
Walter
never shuts up.
That is excellent.
That's awesome.
He's a
He's
good
gonna
dog.
be tiny then. He's gonna be super small.
He's about 20 pounds.
Oh, okay.
He looks almost more like he's got a real muscular kind of Chihuahua body, but it's stretched out a little bit.
Stretch out like a
so he's like
dachshund.
Yeah.
And
That's
the little
funny.
short legs.
Yes, very little short legs that are very. It's like one of the Lollipop Guild.
That's awesome. Oh, we've got about a minute and a half here yet, Megan.
No problem.
And just so you know, Megan, when I will be, if you look over on the right side of your screen, there's a private chat there, and I'll hold up my hand too. I'll give you 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute left, and then when there's when you start to hear some music, that means we're about done, so we got to wrap up.
Okay, I'll try my best.
No, you'll be great. You'll be great.
I tend to ramble at times, especially if I get
be
really
good.
excited about a topic. So.
You will be fine. I'm going to have to watch something more pleasant in the morning than news.
Oh,
on
yeah.
this TV.
That's why I on Sunday mornings sometimes, well, for the few weeks before we started here, I was like Sunday morning, I'd stopped watching. Now I'm
Right?
back. Now I'm back having to watch it.
Oh.
But
10 seconds.
to not watch and just ease into my Sunday mornings, you know.
It's 7:06 right now. You are listening to the Civic Media Radio Network, Civic Media Mornings. If you are in Oshkosh and Appleton, you're listening on WISS. In the Hayward area, WBZH, The Buzz of Hayward. Or maybe you're listening on 93.5 The Tap in Eau Claire. We are glad that you are here. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan, and we're, the 22nd of January. So people made all sorts of resolutions. And according to a Gallup poll, 55% of U.S. adults say they want to lose weight, and that's their resolution. Only 27% of those people, though, are actually working on it. Americans have self-reported weight. Our weights have increased. That's what we're telling everybody. And part of it is diet. Part of it is activity. But if you're trying to lose weight, and Jamie and I have both lost significant amounts of weight, and over mine was a year Monday was my anniversary, and Jamie's been doing this for a while.
5 years now. 5
Yeah.
years. I've been able to maintain most of it. So, yes.
And a lot of it comes out, there's all kinds of theories. Is it going to the gym? Is it doing this? Is it eating right? Well, we wanted to find out how much diet plays in and to give you some diet tools to help you if you are still sticking to your resolution. Maybe you only made it to January 8th or 10th and then you had a cake. But you can always restart. Megan Levine is a registered dietitian, and she joins us now. Megan, thanks for being here. Happy New Year, even though it's 21 days in. Let's start with the numbers are there. People want to lose weight. It seems like a simple solution. Take in less than you're burning. How much does nutrition actually play in weight loss? Is it 90%? Is it all of it?
I mean, I don't have a specific percentage, but diet nutrition does play a big role in weight management, along with physical activity and just different lifestyle changes. Yeah. Often we find people at the start of the year maybe jump into some fad diet, the trending diets, whatever that might be. And they're not really sustainable, not easy to stick to. So they might find that they fall off and don't meet the goals that they set for themselves.
Should weight loss always be the goal, Megan? Because sometimes that feels really daunting, right? Like when you jump in, should that always be the goal, or do you recommend people start with something else in mind before they jump into scales and numbers?
Yeah, it can be really easy to have those numbers to look at, or something that you want, like a tangible reflection of, oh, I did something. This is working. But no, I don't think we should be obsessed with the number on the scale, or it should be more of, taking in those nutritious foods, those foods that are going to support good health going forward, whether that be if you're managing other chronic conditions or just want to improve your health overall.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, the nutrition and the fad diets, because if somebody has made they've resolved, this is the year, I'm going to lose some weight, and they're looking on the internet and they do see all these different, whether it's all protein or the Mediterranean diet, or you run down the list of the million different diets. Why are they, in your words, not sustainable, those kind of diets? And then following that with what kind of and diet is such a negative word anyway. What kind of lifestyle change is more sustainable?
Right. And that's a really good question. The reason I say these diets or these fad diets tend to not be sustainable is they often restrict a food group or restrict foods from your diet. Often with like the keto diet, you're going to be restricting large amounts of carbohydrate, which is our body's main energy source. In Wisconsin, we definitely need the energy during the winter months. So that is depleted just with the weather and everything. But, it's hard to stick to that, if foods that we typically would be eating, pastas, rice, different grains. But it's about choosing the right type of those foods rather than focusing and, or eating a lot of like sugary foods, for example. So that would be more sustainable to try to decrease the sugar in your diet than restrict an entire food group.
We're talking with Megan Levine. She is a registered dietitian. And as we make our New Year's resolutions to maybe get new, healthier versions of ourselves, some tips and tricks that she can tell us for more sustainable overall health. Now, there's a lot of couples who go into this, and I feel like this is an important question. I'm 48 years old, right? And this is an important question because some couples go into this thinking, let's get healthy together. Women are oftentimes more discouraged at these things than men. So what are some things that you would tell women versus what you would tell men who are trying to come up with a more healthier lifestyle?
First of all, being a woman myself.
Hold on. Fact check that, Parker.
And I should probably take my own advice on this, but giving yourself some grace. Our bodies, as women do change as we age. And sometimes it's hard to accept the changes that we see, going through the different stages of life. But if you're nourishing your body with good food, supporting your body with fresh foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, fresh meats, that's going to be supportive of your overall health, hormonal health, and also help with managing your weight.
How much do the hormones actually play into it? Because I don't think women really realize that, right? And I'm somebody who struggled in that area, so I understand that. But how much do the hormones actually play that women would not understand, perhaps?
They can play a significant role for some individuals. Everyone's very different. There definitely are dietitians that specialize in women's health and have more knowledge on that. But I myself have worked with those that maybe have PCOS or other things going through menopause. And yeah, they're greatly affected. They notice the weight loss or weight gain. So it can have an impact on your metabolism.
Absolutely.
Megan, people tend to get discouraged, not just women, but everybody, if they're trying to lose weight and make that change and it's not coming off. How, in your experience, when you're making those kind of changes, whether it's not eating sugary foods, which is personally, that's my downfall. And the cravings come even after over a year. The cravings still come. How long does it take for someone to turn a behavior into just, this is how my life goes. This is what I eat now. It's not a diet. This is my lifestyle. Like how long should people expect to? Oh man, I still want that candy bar. I really want that. I want the potato chips. Whatever it is, whatever your thing is. How long before it becomes not gone away, but a little bit easier?
I do want to preface this with all foods can fit into a healthy diet. But I generally tell people it can take up to 3 months to make these sustainable changes that are going to become habits before you even start seeing maybe weight loss or, feeling like there's been changes that you just feel overall. So it can take some time. And like I started with, people tend to fall off because
Yeah.
maybe they don't see those results initially. And 3 months can be a long time if you're trying to meet like a weight goal for a wedding or for a vacation. So usually it's not hanging on to that and waiting until you can create these habits.
If people do experience a setback or they feel like they've had a setback, what advice would you give to them as a registered dietitian, Megan?
Yeah, reevaluating their nutrition. Maybe there's something that happened in their life that maybe threw things off. Usually, I talk about adding in some exercise or physical activity if that isn't part of their lifestyle right now, and increasing the intensity or frequency of the exercise. Exercise helps build muscle. The more muscle we have, the more calories we burn. So that can be helpful in kind of pushing forward from a plateau or a setback.
Megan Levine's a registered dietitian, and she is with us now. Megan, this, myself included, people used to think, well, if I just don't eat, I'll lose weight. As a dietitian, please set people straight on that urban legend.
Yes, I see this often in my practice. Let me tell you, that can actually hinder weight loss. If we're not eating enough calories throughout the day, our body isn't going to be able to burn calories. We're holding on to that energy because we don't know when our next meal is going to be, right? If we're, not eating regular meals and consistent meals and getting those calories and protein throughout the day. So I recommend eating regular meals and snacks, making sure that your meals are, appropriate portions, spaced evenly throughout the day. Some people say that they don't have a big appetite, maybe. Typically, breakfast is the most skipped meal of the day. But starting your day with something, it could be, a protein shake or a smoothie or, a yogurt or something, just to start your day to get that metabolism going and keep that consistent eating pattern.
What about stress and sleep? Because I know for a lot of people that weighs heavily. I'm not a
Yes.
great sleeper, which is one of the things that I struggle with the most. So how do those play into our weight loss or even just building those healthier habits?
Yep. Those are questions I ask my patients too. How's your stress? How's your sleep? If we're not sleeping well, we're not going to feel energy, right? We're going to feel low energy, going to feel tired. And what does our brain need to function throughout the day? Sugar. All of our organs run on those carbohydrates. And that's what we're going to be craving because we need that quick source of energy so we can stay awake for the rest of the day. So people tend to grab maybe sugary foods, processed foods, quick, convenient things. So that could really be hindering your weight loss if you're grabbing some of those things, if you're not getting good sleep. So I recommend creating a good sleep routine. It can be hard these days, but try to, turn off the TV, turn off the phone, put yourself in like a dark room and, maybe have some relaxing music. Easier said than done, I know, but there are strategies to, create good sleep habits or, before you go to bed.
Is the morning show team making notes for me right now? Are you all jotting these down so you can remind me of these things? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
maybe stop working before 11 at night and, get some sleep before the show. Something that I always struggled with, Megan, and you brought it up before, that your meals should have correct portion size. People could say, yes, I'm eating just chicken breast, but you're eating 4 pounds of chicken breast. So too much for what is the recommended portion size? It used to be like meat should be the size of your fist. Well, I have a pretty big fist. So where does that fall?
Yeah, I mean, there has been some changes with the dietary guidelines. So some of the
Yes,
visuals
I've heard.
changed recently. But if we think of the plate method, if you divide your plate into those sections of the different food groups, we have a quarter of our plate protein, which is about a palm to hand-sized portion, 3 to 6 ounces of protein. A quarter of our plate grains, aiming for half of those to be whole grains. That's about a cup serving. And then half of our plate fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
And we've got just about a minute here left, Megan. If people are listening today and there's one thing that they could start doing at this very moment for a healthier lifestyle, what would you recommend they start doing today?
Mhm. Focusing on those fresh foods. How can you get more fruits, vegetables, whole grains, fresh meats into your diet? Americans as a whole are not eating enough fruits and vegetables. So, finding ways that you can increase that. Those foods are going to be the most filling because they're fiber rich. You're going to feel more full and satisfied at meals, and that could prevent eating large portions, overeating, and eating too many calories that could contribute to weight gain.
Very nice. Well, Megan, thank you for the tips and thank you for joining us this morning. I'm sure we'll talk again. Megan Levine, a registered dietitian. If you're trying to lose weight, good luck. On the other side, we will share our stories. And also, if you are trying to use one of the GLP-1 drugs, be careful. A lot of Wisconsinites are getting scammed with those. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
All right. Thank you very much, Megan. That was awesome.
Thank you, Megan. That was terrific.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Much
it.
appreciate it. You were great.
Yeah, of course. I really enjoyed this. Thanks for the opportunity. I was very surprised just kind of getting a message, on social media. I've never been contacted like that before.
Where are you located?
I live in Kenosha.
Okay.
Oh, great.
So yeah, I work here in Kenosha. I'm a clinical dietitian, outpatient. I also do my own private practice and see patients and do nutrition counseling and
I might
education.
get your email from Frank because I've been looking for a really great dietitian just because of age and things like that. So this has been on the back of my mind. So I might reach out.
Yeah, reach out to me. I'd be happy to help.
Awesome.
Yeah, this was really exciting for me. So I really enjoyed it.
Thank you
I'm
so
glad,
much.
and we'll talk to you again. Thanks a lot, Megan. Have a great rest of your day.
You guys
Thank
too.
you.
Stay
Bye.
warm.
Stay warm, yes.
Midwest. And of course, we have a cooking segment every week. This is Raised in the Woods.
Raised in the Woods with Joel Clayfish and Ellie Lawton. Find the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
You're a storyteller, negotiator, artist, innovator. Whatever your passion, whatever your skills, behind the scenes or in front, you belong here. A career in broadcast media. Local radio and TV stations in every town and city need someone like you. So do what you love and bring your talent to life. Your passion, your skills, your career. You belong here. Learn more at youbelonghere.media.
John and Gordy.
Dr. Tim Slecker on the line.
We fundamentally have a flawed funding system for our schools that rely on real estate taxes.
There was a promise a long time ago to fund it 2/3 funding for our public schools.
It is a re-election strategy that they will never let go of.
Afternoons starting at 2 for your afternoon drive. 15 seconds till we're back.
It's 7:22 right now. You are listening to Civic Media Mornings. Parker, you are on your game in the Boy Aquarium today with the bumper music. Thank you.
Anytime he's alone, he excels. Excels solo.
Yes, he does. He does. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Thanks for being with us. We were talking with Megan Levine, a dietitian, about weight loss, and that is something that both Jamie and I have been working on for a long time. Mine, I don't know about you, Jamie. It's been a lifelong struggle for me with weight, and this is my second big endeavor. But has it been lifelong for you? Did it come later in life? after kids?
Well, I got to tell you, when I was 19 years old, I'll try to give the Reader's Digest because there's been a lot of ins and outs for me. When I was 19 years old, I was diagnosed with endometriosis and PCOS. I basically had a surgery once every 6 months from that period of time. And then because my endo got so bad, after my Dexter was born in 2007, at 28 years old, I had to have a complete hysterectomy. It was either that or I was probably going to end up with some sort of cancer at some point, and my doctor had been my doctor for that basically 9.5 years. We made the decision together because it was what was best for my health. Okay. When you're 28 years old and you've already gone through that many hormonal ups and downs and been put on every medicine possibly imagined so that you can function on a daily basis like you're supposed to, it takes a toll on the hormones. Now, I will say that I can't blame it all on hormones because I do like myself a good piece of cake. I do like myself a good donut and a little chocolate every now and then too. And so yes, it has been a struggle for me. When I was in middle school, I lost weight really quickly, not the healthy way because, no kid wants to go through life being the overweight, chubby kid in class. No, so I lost weight really quickly. And so, yeah, it's always been a struggle. Then I got, about 5 years ago, I got to the point where I'm like, look, I know this isn't healthy. I've got to take reins. I couldn't use the hormonal excuse anymore, even though that's still a constant struggle. If you're a female of a certain age, you know how tough that can be. But I couldn't ride that wave anymore. So I did it through we were in Baraboo. I did it through one of our clients who was just opening her business. I used intermittent fasting, and I still go back and forth with intermittent fasting when I have to. What I have found is that I get older, even in the last 5 years, it is not as effective for me. So now I'm kind of in that search where I've gained about 30 of the 175 pounds back. That is not sitting well with me because, there's certain numbers, even though Megan was so nice and was like, no, don't focus on the scale. When you've lost that kind of weight, it's really hard to not focus on the number. It really is. And I know that's a thing I have to get out of my own head. And so, I think there's probably a different way that I need to go. I do a lot of Pilates. I do a lot of yoga. I am also a walker. So I basically work out 6 days a week is what I do, and kind of vary it though. It's never anything super strenuous. Sometimes if it is, sometimes you just need that too. So I kind of vary everything, but nothing really regimented as far as workout. And, I loved having Megan on because it was a nice reminder that as much as I want to continue to lose the 30 pounds that I've gained, I also have to do it in a healthy manner, right? And got to be smart about these things.
For me, it was not hormones. But there were, I ate. But I realized that people overeat for all different reasons. Mine had to do with the mental state. And in 2011, on July 11th, 7/11/2011, I started my first big thing. And I was like, I'm going to lose this weight because at that point I was working at a radio station doing a lot of promotions. I was on stage a lot. And I was just sick of being fat. And that time I used old school Weight Watchers. But then after old school Weight Watchers, in a year I had lost 112 pounds, and then I started going to the gym and I became obsessed, and I was there like you 6 days a week. I was working out like a maniac, and I lost 167 pounds. Fast forward, then I kept it off from 2011 to about 2018, 19, I started, I'd give myself, well, if I'm going to drink a beer, I don't want to drink a light beer anymore. I want to drink a regular beer. And then the pandemic hit. And I sat at home and I was more depressed, and I was eating for comfort and drinking like a maniac, and the weight came on. And it's funny, it comes on slow. It's not like it comes on faster than it goes off, but it comes on slow. And then last year on January 19th, I started with a client from Milwaukee. They're actually in Madison too, Madison Weight Loss. And it's no drugs. It's just a lifestyle change of diet.
Yep.
And as of now, I'm down 110 pounds. So a year and a couple days. Thank you. 110 pounds. I feel great. I've become very, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. I eat a lot of protein. And every once in a while, I'm at the point now where I've got a few more to go. I want to lose 15 more pounds just for my own, craziness. But, now I'm to the point where I'll allow myself, I'm good 80%, 85% of the time, and then I'll treat myself to something. But even when I treat myself, like when we went out last week, I had a couple of old fashions and I had a sandwich, but I went, I'm going to skip the French fries. So that's not, I don't feel like I'm burdened then. And that's the biggest thing. That's why I asked the question about the habit, because it takes a while. And man, if you've ever given up on anything, whether it's cigarettes or drinking or sweets, you get those cravings and it's really hard. And you
really
have to,
hard.
People go, is it hard to die? And I always say no. But there are some white knuckle days, and people are addicted to food just like they're addicted to everything else. And when you have that, the cravings are real, the struggle is real, but you can, if you really want to, you can do it. And I can't wait till we do some remotes this summer and I'm wearing mesh t-shirts because it is going to be sassy on the morning show.
I'll let you stick with the mesh t-shirts. I'll keep mine in a drawer at home, okay?
All right. Well, listen, keep them for home wherever you want to feel pretty, Jamie. That's all that matters.
It's 7:29 right now. You are listening to Civic Media Mornings. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Innan, and we'll be back talking about the new direction of media on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Station with lakes on both sides. From the capital to your kitchen table, Madison's biggest stories live right here on 92.7 WMDX.
Working smarter, not harder. That's driving a lot of technology adoption in Wisconsin farms and agribusinesses. I'm Pam Yankee. Now, from the Rural Mutual Insurance Farm News Desk, here's what's happening on a Thursday. Brian Luck sees it all the time. He's an associate professor of biological systems engineering on the UW-Madison campus. And he said more of the large manufacturers like John Deere and AGCO are rolling out technology that can be added to existing equipment. He says it's all about labor shortages and trying to make sure that your pencil stays sharp on the bottom line.
We've seen the market kind of grow a little bit, I think. If we look at AGCO's released a new autonomous grain cart. Deere has an autonomous package that you can add on to their precision ag package on their tractors to be able to do tillage and other things. There's companies out there that are making small autonomous machines, kind of in a swarm capacity, and there's other companies like Sabanto and a few others that are have been in the game a little while. They've actually been doing stuff on golf courses, I think, and being able to mow fairways and things like that. Translates directly to agriculture really easily.
Brian Luck, associate professor of biological systems engineering on the UW-Madison campus. He says, obviously, labor availability is what's really driving interest in autonomous equipment. He says artificial intelligence is also expected to be a major game changer in agriculture, particularly in managing and improving farm data.
Welcome back as we check in with Dairy Checkoff. Carolyn Alstein is our guest from Alstein Farms in Leno, Wisconsin. She's also the District 2 Director on the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin Board, ensuring checkoff dollars are working for Wisconsin dairy farmers. One of the success stories so far has been the Born to Dairy campaign, inviting one and all to get to know the people behind their favorite dairy foods.
They are now going to be releasing 24 new Born to Dairy personas, and I think that those are going to reach even more. I mean, with the 6 alone, they reach more than 2 million views, thousands of comments and shares, and so much positive feedback and people tagging each other back and forth. So I really think with these new 24 personas, this will really lean into a lot of diversity and pride in a way that's fun and unmistakably Wisconsin.
Carolyn Alstein is the inspiration behind one of the new personas, the Churned and Burned Farm Fit Farmer. Check it out at borntodairy.com.
And more than 300 farmers from across the state gathered together yesterday for Ag Day at the Capitol to listen to remarks from Marcus Landry, a former UW-Madison Badgers basketball player who was keynote speaker, talking about how he started a family farm after his career in basketball. That's a quick update on what's happening in food news, brought to you by Rural Mutual Insurance, Wisconsin only and Wisconsin strong. Find your local insurance agent at ruralmutual.com. I'm Pam Yankee.
Parallel parking in Madison? Impossible. Finding real conversation on the radio? Probable with 92.7 WMDX.
Partly to mostly cloudy, a few off and on snow showers today. We'll get into the mid-teens early on, and then temperatures are going to drop into the single digits here by late this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy. We're going to drop to between 15 and 20 below zero. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of only 6 below zero. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. It is 8 degrees outside right now.
Listen to the Civic Media exclusive podcast, Busted Pencils.
Protest is democracy in action. So let's organize our voice and, like Tim says, know the rules, but we also should teach them what is the appropriate way to exercise your democratic voice, which is also a civic responsibility. It's not saying, hey, let's teach a protest against something specific. That's for any level of things. We see that peaceful protest is not passivity. This is what democracy looks like.
Subscribe to Busted Pencils wherever you listen to podcasts.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation.
15 seconds until we're back.
It's 7:35 right now. Thank you for joining us this morning on the Civic Media Radio Network. If you're listening in Madison on WMDX or on WXCO in Wausau, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and things happen when you're doing a live show, and sometimes people flake, but that's why if you're like, hey, are you going to talk about the new direction of media? We probably will, but we have other things to talk about because the World Economic Forum is still going on in Davos, as you've been hearing. We mentioned it a little bit earlier. We've got, so any new, if you didn't hear the beginning of the show, really, we start at 6, and we expect you to be here from beginning to end.
Timing is important, people. It's very important.
But because we are nice and we care about informing as well as entertaining, we talked a little bit about what the World Economic Forum is, because we hear Davos and you're like, oh, I think that's in Switzerland. Are they making chocolates? Well, maybe, but in their off time, maybe they have workshops. But Jamie has pulled some highlights, fun facts about Davos, Switzerland, and the World Economic Forum that she shared with us earlier, and will share with us again.
And I think this year it's important because most presidents of the United States and of other countries attend Davos, and it pretty much goes unnoticed, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the things they do. It's part of their duties. This year, because of the threats, the global threats from our own administration, there's a little bit more importance to what's happening in Davos this year. Yeah. So it's basically this forum of nearly 3,000 leaders from business, government, media, and civil society that meet in this small little remote town called Davos, Switzerland. It started in 1971 as a business gathering. It's grown into a global forum related to economics, climate, technology, inequality, conflict. About 400 political leaders making their way to Davos this year. 850 top CEOs are also attending, along with ministers and central bank chiefs. NATO and World Trade Organization leaders are there presently. Global tensions are a little bit higher. So there is going to be conversation on tariffs and how we reshape some of these relationships and alliances that we've had that have been longstanding. Artificial intelligence is a key factor this year at Davos. They're going to be spending a lot of time talking about that, highlighting some of the job concerns, some of the gains that it could bring the world. And, you know, if you're listening to this and you're like, this doesn't sound like anything happens, you're probably not wrong.
Right.
I mean, let's be realized.
A lot of chatter, a lot of talk, maybe a couple good ideas come out here and there.
Sure.
But you're right. This year takes on a whole different weight because it's not just economics that they're talking about. They're talking about, which have, you know, they're talking about Trump's stand on Greenland and NATO and taking things over. And of course, he backpedaled on a lot of that immediately after his speech yesterday. So, he's got the concept of a plan for Arctic security is what the other leaders are calling it. And he's calling it Arctic security. He really didn't get anything that we didn't already have. We have unlimited access or total access, that's the quote, for defense, which, if you were paying attention 2 weeks ago, last year, since 1941, when the accords were signed and the U.S. recognized the sovereignty of Denmark to rule over Greenland, we've always had total access. We have sovereign land in Greenland that we have built a military base on. There was always room and always the ability for the U.S. to expand that military base. So the president, in my opinion, has once again created a conflict that was only in his mind so that he could then appear to have solved the conflict. And European leaders have said, okay, we're not giving in to any of these crazy new demands, but we'll give you what you already have. And he's like, I'm a winner.
Yes.
I have won the debate.
In the last hour or so, there's more news coming out of Davos as meetings take place. It turns out that Trump says that the full access that he's been given for building military operations will allow the placement of the Golden Dome defense system, saying that we are getting everything we want at no cost. Well, it turns out back in 1951, there was already this agreement, as you mentioned, that was in place, so it doesn't really matter, but I digress. There's also been a lot of conversation between President Trump and Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine. They met privately today to discuss that relationship and the Russia-Ukraine war. Well, out of that meeting, we have learned this morning that there's a ways to go, says Donald Trump, in ending that particular conflict with Russia.
But Jamie, I'm sorry, I have to correct you. That was settled day one. Right?
Yes.
With that?
Yes. First day of
a
presidency.
year ago.
It's one of the 8 wars that he was able to stop over this last year of his presidency, I'm sure.
Are Russia and Ukraine just not paying attention? Because we were told this was stopped.
I feel like Russia's not paying attention. I feel like Ukraine would like for this to stop at any moment in time.
Zelensky said there is one big stumbling block, and it's that another country has invaded us and is trying to take our land. That's the one big stumbling block.
Right.
How about you leave and the war's over? We didn't, to paraphrase Billy Joel, we didn't start the fire.
It's pretty easy. We've got Len chiming in over on our text line this morning. The important part, he says, of the concept is the con. Thank you for the text. Scott saying facts, exclamation point. So thank you, Scott, for the text this morning. If you want to chime in, 1-855-752-4842. That's 1-855-75-CIVIC. You can call or text us. Now, here's what I find interesting coming out of Davos this morning, and I got to scroll and vamp for just a second while I get to the right place. But at any rate, the world leaders are discussing this board of peace that President Trump has proposed. And some world leaders are signing on. Now, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced the leaders by title only at a ceremony where there was, because like everything this administration does, there was a ceremony where you sign things and you hold up there was a thing. It was a whole thing.
Did he make them hold up the big $1 billion checks? Like when you win the lottery?
It was basically this black binder where they all had to sign their names and then hold it up simultaneously together at the same time with their signatures on it. So,
listen,
equivalent.
Yes, these are some of the countries that have signed on to this board of peace. And if you hear any sort of threatening music in the background, it's because you're not making this up. He's putting together a Legion of Doom. The United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Qatar. Oh, Qatar. He loves Qatar. Why? Because they give him a plane and he gets to stash his stolen oil money there, allegedly. Bahrain, Pakistan, Turkey, Hungary, Morocco, Kosovo, Argentina, and Paraguay have accepted. So have the Central Asian states of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Southeast Asian nations of Indonesia and Vietnam. Benjamin Netanyahu is also on board. This is fantastic. Armenia, Azerbaijan, they said that they would give the U.S. exclusive development access. So, boy, oh boy. And now, reports the other day were that Russia was in. But now it's like Russia is considering.
Well, reports that came out this morning say Vladimir Putin would still like to be in on the Board of Peace. However, he needs to unfreeze some of his assets from the country that were frozen as part of the sanctions put on the country because of the war in Ukraine. So he needs to unfreeze some of those assets before he can be a part of the Board of Peace, which also makes me wonder what piece of information we don't know and how much these countries are paying up to be part of the Board of Peace.
Well,
so
it said
that feels like a nugget in there.
Initial reports, and that's why I keep saying $1 billion. Initial reports are it was $1 billion. And this is good news for everybody who thought, Brian, that list doesn't really seem to have, you called it the Legend, the League of Doom or the Legend of Evil, whatever it is. Don't fear, folks. I'm not throwing that terminology around lightly.
Willy-nilly.
Europe's last dictator, as he is described, Lukashenko from Belarus, is also on board. So that's good because you need the last dictator if you're going to start a new Legion of Doom.
Yes, and just now as we're talking, a new update coming in from Davos. The president is touting U.S. weapons as being the best and urging defense companies to make them faster. So this...
That sounds peaceful.
No, it doesn't feel like this is going in maybe the direction that actually it feels like it's probably going in the direction we all figured it was going to at some point.
Of course.
But he's also earlier this month, though, this is the context of this is earlier this month, the president actually threatened defense contracting companies saying he would seek to limit any sort of stock buybacks and also their executive salaries unless they improve their delivery of weapon systems to the U.S. military. So here we are.
He loves to make threats, and he has yet
does.
to follow through. Other than ICE invading cities, there have not been a lot of his threats that he's followed through on.
And what bothers me about all of this, and we've had this conversation here on this program, is the fact that in the midst of all of this, what is happening to our actual alliances? Right? If we're aligning with countries like Bulgaria and Turkey and Qatar, what is happening to our actual alliances of countries that we may need at some point?
Well, I think that the answer to your question is simple. When you reported that European leaders are meeting without Donald Trump, that he is excluded from a lot of the meetings, that's what's happening to our allies. They are circling their wagons, and they are. I don't know if you saw, if you haven't heard the Prime Minister of Canada's speech yesterday or haven't read the transcript, I would urge you to search it out and read it. It talked about medium-sized powers and capitulation and all of that, and it was they are preparing for inevitable consequences, not, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically we have to prepare for the world we live in, not the world we wish we lived in.
Right.
And so that's what the EU and NATO leaders are doing now. They are preparing because our country is not the ally that it once was, and that's just, that is a fact. So...
Yeah. Do you think that as we go through this process, right, and I don't want to ever get too far ahead of myself because we're only in year one of this presidency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that at any point we ever get back to the way things should have always been or what our norms are? Do you think that that is a path that we can ever get back to in this country? Do we ever rebuild those alliances? Are we ever able to be the type of superpower that the United States was always viewed as by these other countries?
It will take, I read a former cabinet member yesterday said it would take probably a decade of nonstop hardcore diplomacy to get us back on the footing we were on before with our allies, because there's too much damage. And you know that diplomacy is a long, drawn-out thing. And once trust is lost with a country, that's why a lot of our allies have stopped giving us intelligence reports, things like that. So there's it's In the world we wish we lived in, to answer your question in a long roundabout way, yes. In the world we live in right now, I don't know if the damage, I don't think the damage is irreparable at this particular point. If things are allowed to go further the way they've been going, then yes, the damage will be irreparable.
Right.
And then we will be living in an isolationist world where all these countries are just, there's NATO, and then
Yes.
there's all the big countries that are just walled
Yeah.
off by themselves.
And isolationism was always part of the campaign. That was always part of the campaign. 7:48 right now. You are listening to Civic Media Mornings. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Hey, Gordy, we know affordability is a problem these days. Rent, healthcare, childcare, the cost of everything is going up.
That's right, John. And even if you're doing okay, most of us know someone who's struggling to make ends meet. Many of our neighbors who work hard still find it difficult to pay all the bills and pay for food.
Well, that's where River Food Pantry steps up to meet the growing need. Last year, the River served more than 21,000 people in Dane County, a new record.
And the River Food Pantry's new, much-needed, bigger building on Packers Avenue in Madison is ready to open, so let's pack the pantry on Packers Avenue.
Drop donations at the drive-through event Monday, January 26th from 10 till 4 at 3301 Packers Avenue, or check the River's website for downtown drop-off times.
Donate money, food, or host your own food drive. Check out riverfoodpantry.org.
Bring your food or cash donations to 3301 Packers Avenue on Monday, January 26th from 10 till 4, or check the River's website for downtown drop-off times. riverfoodpantry.org. Pack the pantry.
Ahoo, this is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio. On our show, we share stories from Turtle Island highlighting the people and issues shaping our communities. From protecting water to treaty rights and preserving languages and traditions, we cover it all. Hear voices like Orvina Martin of Emerge, Wisconsin, Dr. Stately, Robert Lilligren, and more. Because Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Native Roots Radio, weeknights at 8 on your local Civic Media radio station.
Hey there, Wisconsin. Tom Hartman here. Democracy is not a spectator sport, so join me each and every weekday right here on Civic Media for the Tom Hartman program from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Covering the news of the day and sharing ways for you to get off the sidelines and get active in your community, because change starts with you. Get involved and tune in to the Tom Hartman program Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on your local Civic Media radio station.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Small businesses are the heart of America. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Your neighbors are talking. Leaders are deciding.
15 seconds till we go.
You're listening to the Civic Media Radio Network. This is Civic Media Mornings. It's 7:52. My name is Jamie Martinson, getting ready for some very cold weather.
Yes, and I'm Brian Noonan, and we are under a severe cold warning starting at midnight tonight that will run through tomorrow, and then it changes to a warning at 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. I expect wind chills 35 to 45 below zero. It will be dangerously cold tomorrow. Again, keep an eye or an ear on however your children's schools notify you if classes are canceled.
Already seeing some schools across the state are like, nope, we're not even waiting. We're just gonna say no right now. So.
Yeah, because if you're going to do a remote learning day, you got to make sure the kids bring home all their stuff tonight.
Right.
And if you're just going to have a snow day, which I don't know if districts even do those anymore.
Everything's a remote learning day.
Everybody's a remote learning day, so you can you can still get out without having to go to school till the 4th of July.
That's right. That's right.
And that's grade school. Colleges will cancel classes sometimes when it's too cold, so maybe if your child's at UW-Madison or they're at Marquette or they're anywhere, they might not have it. But if your child is a senior in high school, this is the time of year where everybody's on edge because it's almost time for those acceptance letters or wait list letters or, God forbid, a rejection letter to come in the mailbox. And I guess... times do change. When I got accepted to colleges, it was you either looked for the really skinny envelope or the big envelope. Big envelope meant you got in, skinny envelope meant you go pound sand somewhere else. But now I guess colleges send swag. And in true Wisconsin fashion, I did not know this, Marquette has upped the ante. And you're like, ooh, what are they sending? Beer, cheese curds? No, close though. Marquette sends most admitted students a soft Bavarian pretzel.
I love this story.
Yes.
I love this story. It is fantastic. And these pretzels are actually from the Milwaukee Pretzel Company, which is owned by a couple of They're pretzels. So good. It's owned by a couple of Marquette alumni, so that kind of helps out. The first batch will be roughly 10,000 pretzel order, and it'll be shipped out later this month. 10,000 pretzels.
They started this because there's fewer students that are admitted to Marquette. Marquette is trying to make sure they get their share of it. So if you get accepted, you won't just get an envelope. You'll get this box, like Jamie said. It's got a pretzel. It's got a written note from the two owners of Milwaukee Pretzel Company, who, as you said, are alums of Marquette, and they're telling you why they went to Marquette and how great it is and what you could achieve if you come to Marquette, because they're trying to get more people to come.
I mean, think about it. When I went to college, right, back in the Stone Age, when we were still, using our tablets and our chisels, to write things.
I was going to say, you had tablets?
Yes, tablets and chisels kind of thing. And I'm talking about the stone tablets because, again, way back in the Stone Age. I did not get any of these. I didn't get keychains. No. I didn't get anything in the mail. I literally got an envelope, and it was some generic letter. You've been accepted.
Yes.
That's not as
welcome
that's not
to
exciting.
The SIU family. Yeah,
I got that. There was no pens. There was no swag involved whatsoever. I had to go purchase that at the bookstore myself if I wanted any of the swag. But the fact that I get a pretzel if I'm accepted to Marquette.
Yeah, you don't even have to go. You can still eat the pretzels.
6 years they've been doing this. It's absolutely insane. No, they came up with this idea in the years leading up to 2020, when the admissions office noticed that more of the institutions around them, right? Like their private, their mid-sized schools were sending gifts to admitted students, and then obviously. We hit the pandemic, right? And the office started seeing an even greater need, especially during the springtime campus tours, with those being off the table, to really have attention drawn to them. And so they came up with this brainstorm of sending out pretzels.
And it's a great thing. Even when my daughter was accepted to college, there was nothing came but the letter, but then they invited her for a tour, and then they, once they get you down there, then they're showering you with all kinds of attention and food and all that stuff. But this pretzel thing is a nice, unique, very Wisconsin way to say, hey, come to Milwaukee, come to school here. You can eat pretzels all the time. We got pretzels dripping off the streets.
Parker, you're 22. You just graduated from college. What was in your swag bag when you were accepted?
I don't think there was anything. I'm offended.
Well, Madison figures you're lucky to go there, so you
Right.
don't need any swag to come to.
Well, I went to Whitewater. Madison wouldn't even let me in.
Oh man, boy, you think Whitewater should have been sending you like a car or something?
Right?
Right?
I guess. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's-
Okay.
So, but it's a nice little thing, and it is very funny because I'm thinking, man, I got nothing.
No, I had to. I
get a
literally got
pen?
accepted, and I got accepted to multiple schools. And I had to
Nice
go.
flex.
I was gonna
had-
say, show off.
No, I
Jeez.
did have
Yeah,
to go.
right.
I did get
I
accepted
did
to multiple.
too.
and I didn't. I'm just thinking, out of all the ones that I got the big envelopes in, there was nothing inside. There was nothing
No,
inside but the
nothing.
paperwork. Please fill this out and send your first tuition check by this date. That's what I got inside of all my envelopes.
I think I might
me
have got
too.
stickers. Now that I think about
Okay,
it,
stickers?
stickers.
No stickers
not fun.
for us. Yeah, it was there were all the envelopes from the place I got in, but then I only went on one visit, and I went on the one visit, and I went, this is where I'm going, and that was it. I mean, with Molly, we took her on a ton of visits. And again, like I think at Indiana, she got accepted there in the business program, which is pretty tough. They sent a big, like a scholar, Indiana scholar magnet for the refrigerator. So that was, like, oh, she didn't want to go there anyway.
How long
even though
ago was that?
That was 14 is when she started college.
So we've evolved. We've evolved in the world of swag and competition.
Any
even
place
amongst
that
our
said
colleges.
food, I would have sent her. If they had sent us food, she would have gone there.
It's 7:59 right now. Thank you for joining us today. Another edition of Civic Media Mornings. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again tomorrow on the Civic Media Radio Network.
All right, live stream. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will see you bright and early tomorrow. Have a good day.